Okay, in this video, I spent the week working on this, a little bit on the trike. I picked up from where I left off in the last video. So it's basically all about this car and wiring, and more wiring. But good result. See, that's still firing up. And then go one further. Okay, so trike's all running. I've sanded down this side and put some primer on it. So time to turn it around and then work on the other side. So truck's running actually pretty good. Now that I've turned it around, I can see a lot of stuff I need to fix. There's rust coming up on the same spot on that door gap there. There's a dent in the pillar there. I don't know how that happened, and you can see where I slapped all that bog in right there. So I'm just gonna give it a quick sand. I'm not gonna worry about the pillar and all that today. I'll probably look at that tomorrow because I think it might rain. So we'll get stuck into that, and then if I'm still down for it tonight, I'm going to start researching wiring looms for this, and then trying to figure out path I'm going to run for my wiring. I also need to pull the engine bay wiring back through to plug up all the headlights. I need to hide it somewhere, and then I need to trim out what we don't need, which I think is like 80% of it, really. But yeah, okay. So what I've been working on is I've pulled that loom back through that little hole down here, and I'm just trying to figure out what's what in this. Obviously I can figure out what the headlights are. That's pretty straightforward. Just following the loom back. There's a whole lot of wiring here that we don't need, but all I should need out of this is headlights, indicators, the starter signal wire, reverse lights, maybe, and just the main power that went from the battery into the car. Once I figure that out and I wire that power in, it should start to work. I should be able to turn the headlights on once I run a new cable from the boot somewhere. So I'll start at that point, get the headlights working, and tidy all this up and try and hide it. I was thinking of putting it behind the guards, but taking these screws out, I'm terrified of doing the same again and ripping this paint up. That won't be a good look. So I'll probably try and hide it under here, and then run it somewhere through there to get that other headlight. But from what I've figured out so far, this is where the factory coil used to sit. So I should be able to eliminate that wiring, and the battery used to sit right here. So fingers crossed I can figure that one out. So it's Monday now, and I've been going over all this wiring in here. A lot of this is now rubbish. As I said, I'm pretty sure I've already said that. Just need the headlights, indicators, and I need the signal wire for the starter motor. And it was the main power feed that I needed, but I'm not going to try and find it in here. I'm just going to go straight to the ignition barrel. I've managed to find a wiring diagram, and I've been able to identify the main power into the barrel. So that's where I'll splice my new power into, and I should still be able to have these lights. I should be able to find the starter motor signal wire, and that's about all I need. The rest of this stuff is for alternator, the factory alternator, factory distributor. don't need any of that now. It's all running through that other fuse box. So mismatching these two looms should work, I'm hoping. Used to pick this up also. It was quite cheap. I've got 4 meters of it, so easily should be able to run from the boot to a junction up here somewhere, and that's where I'm going to split my powers, and then I'll run one down to the starter motor. But cheap, man. I went to a welding shop, heaps cheaper than any other place I could find. So that's a good score. Just got some pretty random terminals and just some connectors. So it's looking good. All right, I've cut quite a bit out of the loom and we've ended up with just this. So these are the lights, indicators, horn. I forgot about the horn before. And yeah, that's about it. Oh, and yeah, common earth as well. So I'll leave that for now. And then I need to try and mesh these two together. There's one wire I'm still trying to find, and that is the alternator battery light for the dash. And I also need to find out where the reverse light wire is. But besides that, it's pretty good. Just gone and pulled the starter motor out. I want to pre-wire it before I put it back in. And I was trying to find a hole down there to run the battery cable, but there's nothing. And I don't really want to go punch a hole through this firewall. So it's going to have to come through this one here with the rest of the ECU. But failing that, the nut on the back where the positive goes is missing, but that's not too hard to find. And there's my little plug for my turn your key sensor signal wire. So I'll sort that out, bolt that back in, and then get back into it. So it's been a couple of days now. I have just recently, like last night, gone through all of this, and I'm pretty sure I've identified everything that I need. So what we're going to try and do now before I wire this whole car up is actually sit a battery in here, hook these powers, hook these earths up. First off, I want to see if the headlight will turn on. That's all wired in now. So if the headlight will turn on, that means that this side of the loom is working. A few other things I can try, I don't know, windscreen wipers and stuff like that. And then once I'm happy with that, we are going to go ahead and connect this side to the power. And with the ignition wire, the 12 volt ignition wire plugged in, and we're going to see if the ECU will power up. And if it does, good. That means I can actually run all the wiring, tidy it all up, put the battery in the boot, and then run everything how I need to. But if it doesn't, that means I need to start again. Yeah. Now, how's that for a rig? This should work. I just need to see now if we've got no lights. Why do we have no lights? Do we have anything? Something's making a noise. Okay, that's all good. So we've got power to that side, but maybe you need keys. I wouldn't afford as much. That's really, really tight. Why is that like that? Okay, bear with me. Okay, for some reason I'm not getting headlights, but we've got tail lights, number plate lights, so that's all good. So there is, oh, there won't be a horn hooked up. No. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is run the power from that fuse into there. I wonder if my ignition wire should turn on. All right, I'm going to check that. I'll get back to you. Okay, so found my ignition wire. The key's set to, well, ignition, and touch that one. There we are there. So I should be able to wire that into this and then that will power up. Okay. All right, it's about that time. Just going to put the fire extinguisher here just in case. I did have the powers hooked up. This is very, very rough wiring, by the way, but it doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to power up. Okay, so being all through it again, I've tightened up all these connections down in here. Not this one. That's just a twisted wire. This is real huckery, but it will work. So we did check before, and we had... So there's my windscreen wipers. I don't think the dash is displaying. Oh no, that's actually, those lights behind there are on. Okay, so what we're keeping an eye on is for this. So I'll just turn it over one more. Oh, that's what we want to see. She's on. Orange light says it's picking up a signal, but it's really not. Oh, that's right. The earth will power to the along the coils and all the rest of that. I still have some wiring I need to tidy up with this. I just wanted to see if this will power on. So it will work. Those front headlights though, they're still, I reckon that could be a shitty earth. I haven't really got them too tight. Got an earth just sitting in there. I didn't want to go too tight just in case I wreck the paint. And we've got an earth here. No, I don't know what's up with that. It won't be anything too major, but we still have, we still have tail lights. So, cool. So now what I've got to do is, I'm happy with all the other wiring, is I just need to test the starter motor signal wire. So if this lights up now, while I turn the ignition over, we should be pretty good. Okay, ECU is on. Yep, sweet. So when I go to turn the starter motor, that's not installed. That's sending signal down it. So that's its wire. ECU is on, as I said. I'm happy as. Pretty stoked with that. Still a lot more wiring to go. I need to wire the fuel pumps in. There's some stuff with the coils I need to wire in, just earth and powers and just real little things. That front headlight will just be bad earth. I'm almost certain of it. But besides that, everything's gonna work. I was really worried about that, but there's going to be a lot of wires coming off that fuse box that are just run into nothing now, but nothing's labeled, so I can't tell what went to where or whatever. But with the setup we've got now, it will run it, so I'm pretty happy with that. So next couple of days I'll just start running all the wires through, sorting that all out, tying up a few loose ends, get that starter motor back in, wired up, get a decent ground strap to the car, stuff like that. On a side note, the ECU for the RX-8 is gone. I sent that off to Australia a couple of days ago, so hopefully I'll be hearing from them very soon, and then I can try and remember where I was up to on that. Okay, been shopping today. Got battery box. That was that cable I got the other day, but got a whole array of bits and pieces in there, so I'm going to start wiring this up, and then somehow make sense of that mess. It's good we know it works, so it should be pretty straightforward. But for the next few hours, I'm going to be stripping wires and soldering them, and then just trying to find paths to run it. My goal for the end of tonight, though, is to have the starter motor back in, wired up, and then we're going to try and see if the starter motor will actually turn off the key. That'll be good. It won't be 100% finished, but that's my little goal. Okay, so I've been at it for a little while now, and I'm just going through this. So far I've got my main battery hooked up. Battery sitting there in the back. I've got it running there. The starter motor's widened. This is still a mess. I still need to get a few more bits and pieces to tidy this all up, and I'm having an issue with earths at the moment. But just going through there, so the TPS, so if I touch the accelerator, so that's me and that's working. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. But what else we've done now is, so we got the starter motor all hooked up. And what I did notice also on the Microtech, I don't know if you saw the video I did in the RX-8 about what those 3 lights meant. There's no red flashing light. So that means that all the sensors are working how they should and there's no issues. What I haven't done yet is I'll try and start it and see if that orange light flashes. Sweet, so it's getting signal from the crank angle sensor, so I think we're on to a winner. I just need to, as I said, just tidy up these loose ends down here and try and make it look prettier. Somehow. Right, one more thing before I stop for tonight. I've just gone ahead and wired the fuel pumps in. There's no fuel in there, so I don't really want to run them for too long, but hopefully I've got the right wires. We'll give it a check now. I'm really happy with that. All I wanted to do was turn the engine, but fuel pump's going, all the ECU's working, it's not picking up any faults at all. The TPS is working, starter motor's working, so I'm more than happy. So on Sunday, I'm going to jump back onto that trike. I'm going to carry on wiring this, but I'm not going to worry about filming, it's boring. But next week, I'm going to jump back into that as well. So that'll be cool. So unfortunately, you're going to have to end this video here. I've just checked the weather forecast and weather's not looking good for the rest of the weekend. So that kind of counts the trike out. I do have an event on today, so I can't work on this either. So what's coming up in the next video is we should be putting oil into this. I'll tidy up all those loose ends, and then hopefully the owners will be able to come across next weekend, and we're gonna try and start it. I do need to get Crazy R. I need to talk to him about all the vacuum bits and pieces and just some control unit he knows all about. I know nothing about that, so I'll get him to help me with that. But yeah, so that would be the plan in the next video, is to start this. And also, if everything falls into place, I should have some work to do on that RX-8. So that will be good. Anyway, if you made it this far, thanks for watching.